Yes, I'm a dreamer. Oh.
The Break of Dawn for Champions. On 32 FM 94.9.
Every day is another chance to do it all over again.
Get the best of starts on the Break of Dawn. 32 FM 94.9. From motivationals
to news
to sports and talk,
we'll give you all you need to make the best of your day.
On the Break of Dawn. 32 FM 94.9.
Top of the morning to you. Thank you very much for joining us this Thursday morning. It's 2 minutes gone past 6 o'clock this Thursday morning. Today, the 16th of September 2021. Thank you for joining us on the Break of Dawn newspaper review. And this is 32 FM 94.9, where we fill the world with laughter. And of course, this is where we get to take headlines from the dailies. We get to analyze the headlines, and we also take your contributions to any of the headlines that catches your fancy. My name is GBEMISOLA. SOYEMI, I bid you welcome.
All right, my name is CHIKE, OGBOGU. Top of the morning to you, listener out there. It's the Break of Dawn paper review, and I'll be having the Punch newspaper and the Nation newspaper this morning.
And I have with me Premium Times and Daily Trust. I'll take headlines first from Premium Times newspaper. The screaming headline here says, Analysis, Alkali, Nigeria's police chief grapples with familiar security challenges. Also, AIB submits a report on crash that killed Nigeria's army chief at Tahiro. Also from Premium Times, insecurity, UNICEF estimates 1 million Nigerian children afraid to return to school. IPOB, Yoruba Nation agitators not different from terrorists, GBEMISOLA. And a crisis brew as Uni Abuja Governing Council queries Bursa and director. JAMB, Unilorin, Uniben, Unimaid among universities that admitted most students in 2020. Ex-Rivers Governor Odili on EFCC watch list, Immigration Service. And APC PDP bicker over Buhari's fresh loan request. Send more police officers to Kwara, Governor Abdulrazak begs IG. Hopes rise as federal government striking resident doctors agree to negotiate. FEC, that's FEC, approves 38.4 billion naira for completion of road projects in Anambra and Bayelsa, Benue, and others. IPOP sit at home is war brought by the people upon themselves. Umai. Malami writes governors requests access for federal government stamp duty recovery agents in states. And finally, from here, hopes rise as I took that earlier, but I'll take it again. Hopes rise as federal government striking resident doctors agree to negotiate.
All right, from the Punch newspaper this morning, bold headline on the front page: National Assembly defends Buhari's $4.9 billion loan plan as APC PDP clash over debts. Riders, all countries engage in deficit financing. We are still within borrowing limit. This is coming from the Senate. Buhari's loans for budget financing, not for looting as done by PDP, says ruling party. APC borrowing to finance corrupt lifestyles of its leaders and their cronies, alleges PDP. APC PDP battle there. AGF writes 36 governors hints recovery of stamp duty arrears. Dollar scarcity hampering sale of Shell $2.3 billion assets. This is coming from a report, and it says here bread, cereals, others push food inflation to 20.30% as Nigeria piles up 2.36 trillion naira debt stock in 3 months. NIS says Odili on EFCC watch list as ex-governor sues immigration. And we have here again, Southern secessionists not different from Boko Haram, ISWAP. GBEMISOLA is speaking there. Abiodun eyes federal government's 83.5 billion naira loan for Ogun Airport. Others. Gunmen invade Lagos farmhouse, kidnap businessman, shoot passerby.
From Daily Trust Daily Trust newspaper, 693 Nigerians were killed in 1 month. That's according to a report. Why Buhari's government has been borrowing APC. Confusion as jet bombs villagers in Yobe. Naira's free fall continues as Nigerians rush to hold dollars. Time to unmask the Israel trained squad in Plateau. That's an opinion story in Daily Trust. No, you are not buying a baby by adopting one. Also an opinion story there. Why National Assembly should amend the Fiscal Responsibility Act. Also from Daily Trust this morning, federal government is saying will lift Twitter suspension soon. Buhari swears in 3 INEC national commissioners. Vicious ISWAP leader Al-Banawi killed. AIB submits report on crash that killed ex-army chief, makes 27 findings. FEC okays 38.4 billion naira for roads project in 5 states. Bandits did not send us any warning letter, FGC Sokoto. 693 Nigerians were killed in 1 month. Okay, I took that earlier. Inflation rate drops to 17.01% in August. NBS. Nigeria imports $20 billion machineries and orders from Taiwan annually. IGP to support AMCON's debt recovery drive. Nigeria's total debt hits 35.4 trillion naira. And let's see some more from the politics side. On 2023, North set to pick PDP ticket as Southwest leaders demand chairmanship. Gombe governor is saying, I have no issues with Goje. APC chairmanship, Sheriff seeks Umahi's support. And finally from here, APC crisis, if I go astray, I should be cautioned, says Gombe governor.
All right, still from the Punch newspaper this morning, lecturers use Sanwo-Olu CP over COVID-19 tests, demand 65 million naira damages. I still have here, reconstructing Ota-Abeokuta Road will cost 56 billion naira. That's coming from Fashola. Osun open grazing law defaulters risk 1 year imprisonment as reps demand probe of custom killings in Oyo communities. Well, we'll go on a commercial breakdown, and when we come back, we'll look at some analysis and read out some headlines to you. Good morning.
Mommy, when is Aunt Valerie coming again?
So you can see her phone again, Abby?
Watching cartoons on her phone is so cool, but yours is...
Yes?
So slow. Watching cartoons on your phone drags like ogbono soup.
When kids complain about the speed of your internet, you know it's time to switch to MTN 4G. Upgrade to MTN 4G now and enjoy free 4GB data plus 100% bonus on every recharge for 3 months. Text 4G to 131 to check and turn up your internet experience on the reliable data network.
Everywhere you go, MTN.
Yeah, you're dolling me, oh.
I'm just not feeling the flow right now. It's like there's no ginger.
Okay, let's take a break. Here, have a Coke.
Gege, that's the ginger right there.
Give me one Coke, Coca-Cola. Yes, so make you ginger.
Ginger your flow with Coca-Cola.
Give me one Coke.
lọ mú àpò débi tí bílíṣì àìpò méjì fún mi.
Máàmì méjì báwo.
Torí pé màá fi kan rẹ àwọn aṣọ funfun yìí màá fi kan tó kùn pa gbogbo kòkòrò.
ṣùgbọ́n èmi ò rí kòkòrò bíbá ẹ̀ máàmì.
wo wọ́n kéré débi pé o ò lè fojú rí wọn ṣùgbọ́n wá ìdí nìyẹn tọkàn mi fi balẹ̀ lórí bílíṣì àìpò láti pa wọ́n pátápátá.
jẹ́ káṣọ funfun rẹ funfun sí i kí lè rẹ́ sì bọ́ lọ́wọ́ kòkòrò àìfojúrí tí ń fa àìsàn. agbára àfọ̀mọ́ tó wà nínú bílíṣì àìpò yóò pa gbogbo kòkòrò àìfojúrí pátápátá.
láti gòkè àgùnlà láyé èèyàn nílò ìtọ́sọ́nà ẹni tó mọ̀nà débi àṣeyọrí. FMH International HR àwọn ni gbajúgbajà akọ́ṣẹ́mọṣẹ́ iléeṣẹ́ alárinà tó mọ ojúlẹ̀jà bá ti ń tọ́ni sọ́nà finimọ̀nà nípa bí gbogbo òǹwáṣẹ́ ṣe lè pàdé àwọn òǹgbanisíṣẹ́ pàápàá jùlọ láwọn orílẹ̀-èdè tó wà lókè òkun.
FMH International HR alábàáṣepọ̀ gidi ni wọ́n jẹ́ pẹ̀lú àjọ oníwádìí ìjìnlẹ̀ àgbáyé tá a mọ̀ sí United Nations Volunteer Research Group láti jùmọ̀ tọpinpin wàhálà táwọn ọmọlẹ́yìn ń kojú nídìí ìgbìyànjú ajé lọ sílẹ̀ òkèèrè. ìyẹn ọ̀rọ̀ tó jẹ mọ́ international migration àti international labour activities.
ǹjẹ́ o tiẹ̀ mọ̀ pé o nílò ìmọ̀ tó jinlẹ̀ dáadáa nípa ìlànà à ń tẹ̀lé láwọn pápákọ̀ òfurufú tó fẹ́ gbà sọdá sílẹ̀ òkèèrè. lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́ bá a ṣe ń sọ̀rọ̀ yìí United Nations Volunteer Research Group pẹ̀lú àjọṣepọ̀ FMH International HR ń ṣe research lórí ẹ̀dùn ọkàn àti ìpèníjà tẹ́ ẹ bá ní. questionnaires táwọn òṣìṣẹ́ FMH bá fún yín lágbègbè yín lẹ́ ó ṣàlàyé ìrírí yín sí.
fún àlàyé lẹ́kùnrẹ́rẹ́ kàn sí wọn ní 3rd and 9th floor Cocoa House Dùgbẹ̀ Ìbàdàn.
telephone 0817 4444 627
àti 081 68 73 7222.
Johnny, you say you don't get side chick. Abi, wetin you been talk sef?
Side chick fire. I say I don't get side hustle now. We go dey fetch me small money. I don't sign up to become Stanbic IBTC at East Agent.
Stanbic IBTC at East Agent? You don't mean it.
My people, we mean am o. Stanbic IBTC don dey right next to you. You too fit become Stanbic IBTC at East Agent for your shop. Just make sure say your business stand for ground gidigba and bam, you fit easily sign up at Stanbic IBTC Bank at East Agent with that o. Visit www.stanbicibtcbank.com to see more tori on top the matter or visit any Stanbic IBTC branch within your area.
Stanbic IBTC, it can be.
All right, welcome back. It's still the Break of Dawn newspaper review on 32 FM 94.9. We'll be joined by Dr. Olu Ojedokun shortly. But before then, let's look at some of these headlines from the Nation newspaper. There's this bold headline: UNICEF attacks scare 1 million kids from school. And then we have here Ondo borrows to pay wages, says Akeredolu. Nigerian airstrike kills 10, injures 20 in Yobe. Community hit in error. That's they write that there. Public offices tax codes allowances for review, and we have inflation drops to 17.01%. Why we seized Odili's passport. That's coming from the Nation newspaper this morning. Lagos Ota Road repairs for completion in December. Some headlines here from the Nation newspaper this morning.
All right, let's take a look at some of the major headlines we have and, of course, analyze them with Dr. Olu Ojedokun. I'll let him in now. Good morning to you, Doctor.
Oh, top of the day to you.
Okay, let's talk about some security issues. We have them in dailies every day. This is in Daily Trust, and it says confusion as jet bombs villagers in Yobe. At least 8 persons were killed in an aerial bombardment on Buhari village in Yunusari local government area of Gombe State on Wednesday. Ali Lawan, that's a resident, told Daily Trust that the incident occurred on Wednesday morning. He said residents were departing to their farms and heading for the Gaidam weekly market when the mishap occurred. He said the aircraft with spot of ash and military camouflaged color approached and flew in from the eastern part of the town, then fired from east to the west. Doctor, are you there?
Yes. Yes, I am here. I am here.
Okay.
The headline there says it all. There was a bombing and it became an error, you know, bombing in error.
Yes, I think it's rather unfortunate. I think the reports I gathered was that there was a convoy of some terrorists that were moving and they hit the wrong target. You see, it's not enough to get Telcano jets or new jets and so on and so forth. You have to exercise some precision, you have to have experience, and you have to be absolutely sure before you go for the strike. So it is an addition to our armory. But if it's not well utilized, then friendly fire which is an expression used in the military terms, or what's it called, or collateral damage tends to be the result. So that's rather unfortunate. Our thoughts, of course, must be with the people that have lost their lives at this point in time. Doesn't mean that they should not use the jets, but it only means that they should go back to the drawing board and ensure that when they fire, they're absolutely sure. It's better not to kill any of these terrorists than to go and kill innocent people. So that's rather unfortunate. But kudos to the military. They're trying their best. They're doing their job. Sometimes mistakes would occur in the theater of war.
While we have some people who have lost their lives when based on error from the military, we also have some other people who are killed by insurgents. Now, there's this report here: 693 Nigerians were killed in 1 month. That's according to a report. In August, no fewer than 693 Nigerians lost their lives in various attacks across the country, according to a report released by the West African Network for Peace Building. Among the casualties were 183 persons who lost their lives during shootout between security operatives and criminal gangs. So we have innocent people also losing their lives, just like we took in the previous headline.
Yes, rather unfortunate. I think one of the unfortunate things in the past 6 years, or even going before 6 years, is that increasingly Nigerians are losing their lives to insurgents, to terrorists, and to some activities that some will describe as banditry. And the government doesn't seem to have a solution and answer. And I even think beyond that, even innocent people riding their bikes, going on the streets of various cities, are also losing their lives. I lost a friend yesterday thereabouts such incident. And the government doesn't seem to have a full answer. And part of this insecurity could be traced to the fact that there's so many of these insurgents, so many of these bandits, so many of these terrorists that are around. And so if you don't have an alternative in terms of finding jobs, finding economic opportunity for them, most of them will resort and be recruited by many of these terrorists. Something must be done, because the number one responsibility of government is peace, the welfare and security of its people. So it's not enough to say, well, it will happen. People would always die. But where our government is negligent, or where government has been unable to rise up to the responsibility, it becomes a tragedy. And the question is, for how long can this tragedy continue?
Doctor, what do we do about security operatives making mistakes like this, and then the government and the security operatives not taking responsibility for this?
Well, somebody must take responsibility. When mistakes are made, you have to determine what kind of error was it. Was it due to malfunction of the jets? Was it due to human error? Was there a systemic failure? You have to analyze, and then you have to come back with a report and allow that report or evaluation or feedback, whatever it is, to feed in. But when you just say, oh, well, it's just an accident and so on and so forth, then those accidents and those errors continue to happen. So somebody must account for it. Not so much that you prosecute necessarily, especially when it's an error, but so that those mistakes do not happen again. And of course, the people concerned must be fully compensated. Their medical bills and so on and so forth must be paid for. Someone must take responsibility. The government must take responsibility, and it comes in different ways. It doesn't always end in prosecution, as I've said before.
All right, Doc, going back still on security issues, going back to what you said earlier, when mistakes are made, the military should go back to the drawing board and all that. Then I asked this question: getting new fighter jets and all that. Was it excitement that made them not really know or understudy how to using this equipment? Because this error is far too much.
Okay. Well, they've only just deployed the Takano jets into the theater of war. It usually takes a while before you get used to this. I mean, they would do a lot of training, of course. They would have done in the past.
Some of them were actually sent to the U.S. to take up some trainings before now.
Yes, that would be the normal. That would be the normal protocol and procedure, because you can't just bring the jets in and all of a sudden you begin to use it. But, all the simulated trainings and the actual theater are completely different. One is theoretical. You do it in the very comfortable atmosphere. But when you're actually on the pressure of war, real life situation, and you have to take a second decision, it's actually quite different. I hope that the errors will reduce, because it's not enough to say errors are made. Of course, errors will be made, but they have to be reduced. So I think maybe better training, I think taking their time, I think the evaluation, going back to the drawing board, looking at what's gone wrong might help. But there must be a post-mortem. There must be a review, and that review must feed into the continual war efforts. Otherwise, we are going to continue to have such mistakes being made again and again.
All right, let's take a step further and talk about the Naira. Naira's free fall continues as Nigerians rush to hold dollars. The report says some people and corporate entities are saving their fortunes in dollars as a preferred store of value, Daily Trust investigations revealed. And some of those who spoke to Daily Trust said it was safer, convenient and profitable to keep money in dollars because of the dwindling fortunes of the Naira, especially in the parallel forex markets. Analysts believe that the rush for the dollars and other factors have further exacerbated the pressure on the Naira, as checks at the Bureau de Change markets in Wuse, Abuja and other places showed that the value of the Nigerian currency was fast plummeting.
Yes, it's fast plummeting. I know that on Monday was 750, 1 to 750 pounds. And I know as of yesterday, I'd gone to 1 to 768. So it is actually quite alarming. And I think part of it is that so many people, you understand, are chasing so few dollars. And part of it, some people argue, is that the CBN policy where they came up, was it last month or so, and they closed down all the, the bureaus of exchange and so on and so forth, on the basis and on the excuse that many of them were doing round tripping and all kinds of activities. And of course, you can't deny that that was happening. But what has happened is that exacerbated the scarcity of dollars. And in exacerbating that, the Naira is taking a battering. Apart from that, the economic policy of the government is not quite clear. It appears that there's only one economic policy this government has, you understand, which is to borrow, and to borrow its way out of the situation by funding recurrent expenditure. There are also other things. Confidence in the government is also one of the factors. Do people have confidence in this government? Do they have confidence in the Minister of Finance? Do they have confidence in the Governor of Central Bank? All those are factors that investors think about. Foreign direct investment has gone down. All those are the sort of things that give stability to our Naira and to our currency. And in terms of even the petroleum, which is our main resource, you understand, is there stability in the price? You know, are people looking towards the fact that oil is a declining resource? So there are many factors that come together. And I think one of the things this government can do, because it's not enough to criticize them, is to look at the Ministry of Finance, who is there, and to look again at even the Governor of Central Bank. I'm sorry to say that. You need to look at all these things so that investors can have some confidence and look at the policies that the government is implementing. But as it is now, there's not much confidence, and that's why people are running after the dollar and trying to dump the Naira.
All right, Doctor, before we go on a break, let's look at this headline here. It says, Presidency warns on Yoruba agitators, IPOB alliance. And it says, the UN should ignore demands. Speaker, secession agitators not different from Boko Haram. The presidency on Wednesday warned Yoruba nation agitators against an alliance with the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB. It argued that their romance with the IPOB has put a question mark on their claim to being rights promoters. The presidency asked the United Nations to ignore the demands made by the Yoruba nation agitators, IPOB members in the diaspora, and Middle Belt activists for not being in line with the global body values. Well, the headline there, presidency warns on Yoruba agitators, IPOB alliance.
Really. I seem to recall Nelson Mandela. He went to United States of America, and he was being questioned and being queried of his alliance with Libya, because Libya was one of those that funded the ANC, that's the African National Congress, in its liberation fight against apartheid in South Africa. And of course, what he said was very clear to them, that you can't tell us who the friends that we choose, those that support our cause, whether you consider them to be terrorists or otherwise, insofar as they support our cause, we will take support from them. Taking support from them does not mean we support their means and methods of what they do. In other words, I'm saying that the fact that the Yoruba are aligned with IPOB, Yoruba organizations are aligned with IPOB and other such organizations, is not necessarily an approval of the means and methods that those ones exercise. But they need alliances and they need to work together. And it is for the federal government to look at the issues rather than necessarily to look at their friendship. The federal government should take the issues that are being raised seriously. If the federal government says they won't take them seriously because they have an alliance with IPOB, informal or otherwise, you understand, then the issue gets exacerbated and the fractures in the federation will only be further exposed. The federal government has to be realistic and they really have to go beyond polemics and deal with pragmatism.
Now, the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Femi Gbajabiamila, has also spoken about that, and he said the refusal of the separatist movements in the southern part of the country to accommodate dissenting opinions makes them the same as the Boko Haram and ISWAP terrorists. He said, given time and space, the separatist movements in the south will drag Nigeria towards the path of destruction.
Well, when he's talking about the South, I mean, that's too wide. If he's talking about the activities of some of the IPOB operatives, alleged, I would say, then there is some concern because there tends to be a dictatorial tendency in where the sit at home is being enforced by force, is being enforced by violence, and is being enforced by intimidation. And if indeed that's the case, and if indeed IPOB is behind it, then of course, I agree with the Speaker that they are not better than the terrorists. They are not better than the insurgents. So I think IPOB, or whatever they are described as, need to clean up their act. And if there's sabotage going on, they need to identify the saboteurs and stop that. We have freedom of expression. We have freedom of assembly. We have the right to choose to believe in whatever we want. We can choose to believe in one Nigeria. We can choose to believe in a confederal Nigeria, or we can choose to believe that we want self-determination, but it must not be done violently, and those that oppose our views must be tolerated with respect.
All right, let's quickly take a look at this before we go on a break. Still talking about security anyway. There's a report that says a vicious ISWAP leader, Al-Banawi, has been killed. And his name is Abu Musab Al-Balawi. He said that the report says that he has been killed in Borno State and he was reportedly killed in the last week of August this year.
Yes, I would hope that that is going to lead to a reduction in the terrorist activities. But as we've seen in the past, the fact that Shekarau or this man passed away, it's not necessarily means that the insurgency comes to an end. It might affect them operationally for a while, but does it really diminish them? Does it really make them defeated? No, I don't think it does. But I think there's indication that there's a power struggle going on there. And that power struggle, if the Nigerian armed forces is capable, fully equipped, strategically aware, they might be able to take advantage of that and finish up these terrorists once and for all. But finishing them off is militarily, economically, social-economically, and otherwise. So there is a combination of factors. So I think it's not bad news, but it's not necessarily good news.
The reaction of many Nigerians was that we hope that Al-Banawi will not reincarnate like we saw happen with the likes of Shekau.
I think there's very little chance of that, but he may reincarnate in another form because they keep on reproducing themselves. That's the problem. One dies, another takes over, and so on and so forth. So yes, in that sense, we have to watch out. I use the opportunity of a vacuum to go for the kill, to decimate these terrorists, and to make sure that nobody rises up from the dead, in quotation marks.
Now, what I mean by this, Doctor, is we've seen the federal government coming out to say we killed the leader of this of Boko Haram of ISWAP in the northern part of the country, and then some months after, we see a video of the supposedly killed person talking to people and saying, maybe talking about their next plans. That's why Nigerians are reacting that way. We hope that this information that has just been released, we hope that it is true.
Yes, I know Shekarau died so many times, maybe about 5 or 6 times. But
and he's probably still dying.
Yes, but this situation is quite different. The information did not come from the Ministry of Defense. It didn't come from the federal government. It came from an alternative independent source. And that's why I think it may be more credible. Not suggesting that our government is not credible, but they've been caught, many times pulling one porky or the other. And by porky, I mean untruths. So because of that, there may be more credence. And I think there's some credence being given to it internationally. So we will see in the next few days as to, what the position is, whether this is just a figment of someone's imagination or whether it is the reality on the ground.
All right, we will go on a short break now. And when we come back, still the paper review on 32 FM 94.9. Remember, you can watch us live on Facebook and on YouTube. The handle is at 32FM 949 Ibadan. 32FM 949 Ibadan. Stay tuned. Don't go away.
It's 6 o'clock in the morning, getting set for another day. Another chance to change my story. I believe in my hustle. I know be lazy person, but life is just stay knock me gospels. If it don't close, I go find another. If I fall down, I go try to recover. If it ever walk me, I know they bother. Cause I believe say I go surely prosper. You don't get that shit won't be. We move. No matter what they say, we move.
Whatever life brings, we move. Turn up your dreams. MTN, everywhere you go.
Babe, that girl must be using something.
Hey, Berry, what kind of something?
You to see how she's always smiling, displaying her 32.
You're cuckoo right. I know her secrets. I know what she's using. She uses it twice a day.
Tell me her secrets.
I'll give you a hint. ABZ.
ABZ?
Yes, ABZ is the secret. Close-Up contains antibacterial zinc, ABZ, which gives you 3 times more freshness and 3 times more protection. Better than your regular toothpaste. Now you know the ABZ secret.
The new Close-Up is her secret. Everybody must hear.
You can't keep a secret.
New Close-Up with antibacterial zinc. Triple the freshness, triple the protection.
Orílẹ̀-èdè Canada ó fún èèyàn tó lé ní mílíọ̀nù kan ní ìwé ọmọ onílẹ̀ láàrin ọdún 2021 sí 2023. Kò jẹ́jẹ́ bẹ́ẹ̀.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ lórí. Orílẹ̀-èdè Canada yóò fún àwọn ènìyàn tó ń lé ní mílíọ̀nù kan ní ìwé ọmọ onílẹ̀ láàrin ọdún 2021 sí 2023. Ọ̀gọ̀rọ̀ ohun àlùmọ́nì ilẹ̀ ló sodo sí orílẹ̀-èdè Canada. Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni ìbá díẹ̀ ni wọ́n ti ìṣàmúlò rẹ̀ láàrin ẹgbàágbèje ohun àlùmọ́nì ọ̀hún. Èyí rí bẹ́ẹ̀ látàrí ọ̀wọ́n ènìyàn tó ń bá orílẹ̀-èdè náà fínra. Bó tilẹ̀ jẹ́ pé Canada ní orílẹ̀-èdè kejì tó ní ilẹ̀ jùlọ lágbàáyé, ṣùgbọ́n ìwọ̀nba ènìyàn ni wọ́n ń gbé ní orílẹ̀-èdè náà. Onírúurú ètò láti rìnrìn àjò sí orílẹ̀-èdè Canada ló ti wà nílẹ̀. Ìwọ náà lè lo àǹfààní ètò àti kẹ́kọ̀ọ́ kó o sì máa ṣiṣẹ́. Aṣáájú agbanímọ̀ràn bí a ti ń rìnrìn àjò káàkiri àgbáyé ní Jonathan King Limited. Kàn sí wọn, wọ́n fọ̀nà hàn.
Gba fọ́ọ̀mù tiẹ̀ lónìí ní Jonathan King Limited, àjà kínní àti ìkẹfà Cocoa House Ìbàdàn, àti ní The Bronx Bookshop lẹ́bàá Saviour Cathedral níjẹ̀bú Òde. 20 oṣù kẹsàn-án 28th of September ní ìforúkọsílẹ̀ yìí ó wà sópin o.
Many people just wonder how my toilet does to stay clean, how my toilet know they get germs. Number secret to my healthy family living. Power active clean soul. Clean soul toilet clean. No matter the day, make it just no say. Clean soul clean soul. Kills 99.9.
Cleanse all toilet cleaner. Small change, big difference for a healthy family.
Hello! We believe you're enjoying Titan Farms products like Titan Rice, Yam Flour, Rice Flour, Titan Oil, and others. Oh yes! With Titan Farms, there's always something more. Give your child the best gift by buying any of our lots at Titan Farms Estate, Upperland City, Monia, Idianyure, Regal Gardens, Soka, Cherry Court, Ilaji, and enjoy freebies like 500 blocks, 20 bags of cement, free survey, deed of assignment. That's not all. Here's the big deal. For every land you buy in your child's name at Titan Farms Estate, you can get a loan to sort your child's school fees if need be at no interest for up to 3 months. Yes, you heard me. No interest for 3 months. To enjoy this limited offer, quickly call 0906 007 9714 or visit Titan House opposite Motor Dealer Park, New Garage Road, Ibadan, or check us out on www.titanfarms.org.
We're glad to know you're on the other side listening to 32 FM 94.9. It's the Breakdown newspaper review. Do not forget, you can join us live on Facebook and on YouTube. We are live. You can drop your comments, drop your questions for the analysts. The platform is Facebook and YouTube, and the handle is 32FM 949 Ibadan. 32FM 949 Ibadan. We see the phone lines buzzing already, but then we have to take a few more headlines, and we get to that. Let's talk about some other stories in the dailies. Why Buhari's government has been borrowing. That's from the APC. The ruling All Progressives Congress has said the Buhari administration is obtaining loans to finance the deficit in the 2021 budget and develop critical infrastructure in the country. In a statement by the secretary of the APC Caretaker Committee, the secretary, that's Senator John James, said the critical infrastructure was in turn stimulating economic growth, generating jobs, reducing poverty, and improving the general well-being of the citizenry. Dr. Luajedokun, how true are these judgments?
Well, first and foremost, economic growth is nothing to write home about. We are barely over 1%. The only good indicator or positive indicator is that inflation is dropping. It's still quite high. From a very high point, we are dropping to about 17 point something percent. So that's the only good positive outlook on the horizon. But you have to remember where we're coming from. Olusegun Obasanjo had loans of up to $36 billion. He was able to get debt relief, and we were able to wipe out all those loans. Now we have this government where we've approached $33 billion, which means that we're almost at the same level that Olusegun Obasanjo was when he decided to wipe out these loans. Yes, you borrow, and you borrow for critical infrastructure, you borrow for investment, and you borrow to ensure that the economy grows. But the borrowing that we have is not commensurate with what we find on the ground. A lot of the borrowing goes into recurrent expenditure. What do I mean by recurrent expenditure? Over bloated employment, over bloated pay, and salaries which are unsustainable. And so the National Assembly, all over the world, our National Assembly appears to be the best, fullest in terms of remuneration. They appear to be on top, number one. And then you see a number of expenses which cannot be justified. So if we are going to go out borrowing, let us first cut our coats or dresses according to our size, and then people will know that we are quite serious. So the problem we have is not that we are not borrowing for some of the infrastructure, we are, but also we are also borrowing to pay a lot of salaries. We are borrowing, and then the other factor which hasn't been considered is that the CBN Act, you understand, Section 37 says that borrowing from the CBN, because we're also borrowing from the CBN, should be 5%, not more than 5% of the past budget. But we've exceeded that, by far. So our problems are being compounded. And the director of the Debt Management Office has already raised the issue to say that in the long term, there's going to be sustainability. So the senator from the APC may say what he likes. They may refer to the past sins or past iniquity of the PDP. But we're not dealing with the PDP government now. We are dealing with an APC government, and they have the responsibility to ensure that they do not pass on these loans to our great-grandchildren and grandchildren in some instances.
All right, we have this headline here. Bold in front of the Punch newspaper. Front page, National Assembly defends Buhari's $4.9 billion loan plan. APC PDP clash over debt. With riders here, all countries engaged in deficit financing were still within borrowing limit. This is coming from the Senate. And President Buhari's loans for budget financing, not for looting as done by PDP, says ruling party, as APC borrowing to finance corrupt lifestyles of its leaders and their cronies, alleges PDP. Back and forth, both political parties throwing jabs at each other over the $4.9 billion loan, Doctor.
Why Nigeria is burning. I mean, they are fiddling, you understand, playing political games. The reality of it, when you talk about GDP, is that our loans are about 22% or thereabout of GDP, from that point of view. And the reality of it is that we can go up to 58%. But when we compare ourselves with the industrialized nations of the world, we're in a different context entirely. So they can tout those statistics, and it might work for them, but it doesn't work for us. And it doesn't work for us. Why? Number one, we mono economy. We depend on one resource mainly. We have an underutilized tax base. Our tax base is barely fulfilling its full potential. I said maybe for Lagos and Abuja to a certain extent. And so what we are getting, you understand, is that we go with the wind of what happens in terms of petroleum. And so that's affecting our ability to raise revenue and our ability to sustain the debt. So PDP may have made their own mistakes, but we're not dealing now with PDP. APC has been in government for 6 years. 6 years is enough for you to change the trajectory. Instead, the trajectory has got worse. Instead, the trajectory is pitiable. So the APC, you understand, should stop at excuses and they should provide solutions. They're in government. And let me just say one thing. You see, when you're in government, you have the ability in one day to transform a generation than those of us who are out of government. Those who are out of government, we cannot do much even in the next 20, 30 years. But those in government in one day can transform our situation and our fortunes. And apparently, they don't appear to be doing so at the moment.
All right. The number to call will be 070550949 and 080970949. You can also watch us live on Facebook and YouTube. The handle is at 32FM949 Ibadan. 32FM949 Ibadan. Which one of these stories resonates with you this morning? Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Alaji Agola from Coca-Cola.
All right, Alaji, shoot.
Yeah. Yes. There's no fee in borrowing. But when you are borrowing for consumption, when the government is borrowing for consumption, that government is not sensible, responsible, and is not proactive. Because when you are borrowing for consumption, you can never pay back the loan you are borrowing. Only government that is sensible, responsive, and proactive enough will borrow and finance those projects that will be able to pay the borrowed money back on itself. But the governor of Ondo State, Akeredolu, said they have been borrowing to pay wages. The same thing, the federal government, for the fact that he is the one taking the large chunk of the revenue allocation, which is not supposed to be, he is still borrowing. Like the doctor has said, more than 6 years. You have not seen bring up any positive policy program or
all right.
Hello, Alaji.
Okay,
right.
Your point has been made there. 070550949 080970949.
Let's take a few comments on Facebook before we go on a short break. Good morning to you all over there. Okay, Ilesami Orire, Olamide, Adegoke Sheon, Emmanuel Oluwatoyin. We see you. Adegoke Sheon says our economy will be experiencing these in terms of value of Naira. The monetary and fiscal policy is not working together. Folaram Stephen, Emeka James, and Okechukwu Anthony Ayao says, good morning. With the way Nigeria is going, the future of this country is gloomy. Okay, may God help us. All right, and John Olariwaju says he's watching for Makurdi, Benue State. Thank you, John. Kudos to the security agents for the killing of terrorists, but it is unfortunate that innocent souls were part of the killing. I would suggest that they should also go after their sponsors. John Olariwaju, thank you for your message. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Jamie. Good morning, Chike.
Good morning.
Dr. Lu Odeduko. I think the problem we have is that the administration do not know what it means by borrowing to salvage the economy. The solution is when you borrow, you look into critical areas that will bring you back that money and also sustain your economy. For example, we have the gas reserves that could be created such that we'll be able to be gas we are flaring in the Niger Delta, we could store them and sell to ourselves. That way government will make more money and we'll be able to pay back whatever loan they have borrowed. But the problem is this following into recurrent expenditure. You borrow to do intervention programs. You borrow to do feeding program. Is that what we need as a country? When we know that the economy is already down. When you borrow to salvage the economy. People will benefit. You will also be able to get money back to pay back the loan you have borrowed. That is my take today. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you for calling the radio station. Okay, we'll go on a break now. And when we come back, keep your calls coming. Don't go away.
Uncle Dentist, wetin be cavities and how Colgate take dey protect my teeth from cavities? Shey dey use comfort?
No dear, na hole for teeth dey cause most tooth pain wey be cavity. But if you use Colgate Maximum Cavity Protection take brush every day, the confirmed formula go help keep natural calcium inside our teeth wey go protect them from tooth decay.
Time don reach to upgrade to the world's most chosen toothpaste, Colgate, because Colgate locks calcium in.
Now, the Nigerian Dental Association, they recommend Colgate.
Unbelievable, but true. Canada will issue over 1.2 million permanent visas between 2021 and 2023. Canada has incredible natural resources, most especially mineral resources, but less than 15% of those massive resources have been exploited. Reason? Canada's population is very small. Less than 40 million compared to USA's 350 million and China's 1.6 billion. And these are countries with smaller land area than Canada. You can also take advantage of fantastic graduate and postgraduate education in beautiful Canada and prosper. There are well over 60 immigration programs to choose from. Let Jonathan King Limited take you through the simple process and relocate to Canada with members of your family. So take advantage and obtain your own form at Jonathan King Limited, 1st and 6th floors, Cocoa House, Ibadan, CMS Bookshop, Folagbade Street, beside the Cathedral of Our Savior, Ijebu Ode.
Registration ends 28th of September 2021.
May your waiting dey happen now. You dey tell me
Omo, I just never enter the ginger zone. Ginger no dey at all.
We are sit down. You relax more. Take Coco.
Now the ginger be that.
Give me one Coca-Cola. Yes, so make you ginger your flow.
Ginger your flow with Coca-Cola.
Give me one Coke.
Indomie welcomes you back to school. Have a session filled with lots of fun and excitement. Stay safe, stay healthy. Indomie noodles, tasty nutrition, good for you.
Oh, mommy! Lọ mú àpò débi tí ebílì ṣe àìpò méjì fún mi.
Mommy, méjì báwo?
Torí pé màá fi kan rẹ àwọn aṣọ funfun yìí. Màá fi kan tó kún pa gbogbo kòkòrò.
Ṣùgbọ́n, èmi ò rí kòkòrò ń bíbá ẹ̀ màámi.
Wo wọ́n kéré débi pé o ò lè fojú rí wọn. Ṣùgbọ́n wá, ìdí nìyẹn tọkàn mi fi balẹ̀ lórí bílíṣì àìpò láti pa wọ́n pátápátá.
Jẹ́ káṣọ funfun rẹ funfun sí i, kí lè rẹ́ sì bọ́ lọ́wọ́ kòkòrò àìfojúrí tí ń fa àìsàn. Agbára àfọ̀mọ́ tó wà nínú bílíṣì àìpò yóò pa gbogbo kòkòrò àìfojúrí pátápátá.
0705 5000 0809 7000 Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Father from Papa Ludo.
All right, go ahead, please.
Yes, I don't think there is nothing bad in borrowing. But my own concern is that when you want to borrow, you don't use borrowing for recurrent expenditures, such as salary. Don't use it for that. You can use it to provide infrastructure or something that can boost the economy of the country. So, to explain personally, the way politicians are doing is very, in fact, it's very disappointing or disquieting. So, to me personally, let them borrow and let them use it to develop the country. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. 0809 7000 949 0705 5949. Ogundijo Latif from is saying on Facebook, yes, it's good to borrow only when your earnings remain stable. Crude isn't bringing in reasonable revenues as usual as prices keep falling in the international market. On this, it is not good at all. My question is when Nigeria is going to lend out? Okay, interesting question.
Okay.
Hello, good morning. Hello.
Hello.
Good morning.
This is Olufemi from Oyo.
All right, go ahead, Olufemi.
I just want to talk on Amila's contribution.
All right, please.
For goodness sake, why would somebody be comparing the terrorists with agitators of areas? The question now is, how many people are killed? How many people have been stabbed? How many?
All right, Olufemi, your line seemed not to be clear. You can kindly call us back. Doctor, the last
There's
comment
a question, yes.
on Facebook here, there's this question here. It says, when
is Nigeria going to lend
out? When will Nigeria lend out?
I'm not sure that's going to be in this our lifetime. But anyway, the reality of it is that we are in an unsustainable position. Everybody knows it, like it cannot be sustained. We have to find answers, and we have to find it quick. And it doesn't appear that this government is able to find the answer. Some of the answers come in changing personnel, changing policy, bringing a broom a new broom to sweep away, the debris that is there. But you cannot continue with the same policies again and again, expecting something different.
Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Tell us your name and where you're calling from.
Yes, my name is Adesina from UI. The last caller was very clear. We wanted to know why government is comparing our people agitators here in Boko Haram, and he was asking that how many people of our people killed here. So let me assist him to provide answers. It's not the fault of the government, it's the fault of the southern leaders, very selfish ones, very unfocused ones, very greedy ones that we have here. And at the appropriate time, by God's grace, they will still face the consequences of what they are doing against the South. They are doing that because of their stomach. Because of their stomach. You see someone in Kwara State was comparing a leader who is trying to protect his own people from being killed here. He's comparing him as a terrorist. And the leader of Boko Haram, he has never said anything. Because he's a minister today, at the appropriate time, we will deal with them. That's how the best of today.
All right, thank you for calling the radio station. 070550949, 080970949. Those are the numbers to call. Remember, you can watch us on Facebook and YouTube and drop your comments there at 32FM 949.
Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
I don't know whether you're hearing me.
Yeah, loud and clear.
Okay. I think what Badamila is trying to say is that we should not allow, this is how Boko Haram started their own too. We've seen happen attacking police. We saw Boko Haram too attacking police in their own beginning. So we should not allow, and we saw what happened even when the military would be needs to just spread out. What happened to those people? So do we want war here in the southwest or in the south, where we have targets that are not supposed to offer civilian casualties? So let us be careful whenever we want to support any group. Thank you.
All right, thank you for calling the radio station.
Glad said we should be careful when we are supporting whatever anybody says, government officials.
All right, Doctor, are you do you have the same thoughts with this last caller?
No, unfortunately, I didn't quite hear what he was saying. I didn't get what he was saying.
He said that what Gbajabiamila, he believes what Gbajabiamila was trying to say when he compared separatist groups or organizations with IPOB, with ISWAP and Boko Haram, is that this looks like a case study of how Boko Haram started, people agitating for whatever it is, and then it becomes a full-fledged war.
Yes, I mean, Boko Haram, of course, became what it became because it was mismanaged. It was mismanaged. Their leader was killed. Their supporters were harassed, and their civil liberties were denied. So, of course, it came out of that. Nobody's justifying Boko Haram, but that's how it came about. And in IPOB now, IPOB really wasn't as murderous as they are now. But remember that there was a military onslaught against them in an attempt to wipe them out. And it's only further militarized them. It's made them worse. And some of their tactics are akin to that which Boko Haram exercises over the population that it controls. So, yes, the trajectory is not encouraging. And IPOB has to make a decision. Do they want to be constitutionalists, or do they want to confirm that indeed they're terrorists, as the federal government seems to think they are?
Hello, good morning.
All right, can you turn down?
Please, Dr. Mark calling back. Let me quickly say this. I want Mr. Olo to please answer this question. When things are brought to the National Assembly, issues like this will be the fourth stage of borrowing. I thought the National Assembly should have asked, the money borrowed in the past, the project we have used it to do, how far have we gone? Can the government please explain to every Nigerian, this is where we channel this so, and this is how far we have gone, before we start borrowing another one. The Lagos Ibadan Expressway has been used to collect money more than 3 times, including the Paris Fund money and all that, and yet that road is still not yet completed. We have the Warri Itakpe road there. It is still not completed. The second Niger bridge is still not completed. So where are all of this money they are borrowing going? It's definitely not in this economy that we are in. Look at the state of the economy, as harsh as it is. So government needs to explain to Nigerians where they are diverting the money they are borrowing to before they should borrow another one. Thank you very much.
Doctor, Nigerians are overly bothered now about how these borrowings are spent. And Ikola just is asking for the place of the National Assembly in all of this.
Well, the National Assembly has been notorious for being a rubber stamp under President Lawan. Lawan has been very clear he would do whatever the executive wants. There's no critical engagement with the issues. They've not examined our current expenditure to see whether we've tightened our belt. Because when you go out borrowing, you tighten your belt. So it doesn't appear as if the National Assembly is providing the oversight function that they do. Also, value for money. It's not enough to borrow, but when you borrow, it's incumbent upon you to even be more vigorous in the way that you spend it. And people have argued that when we borrow, it's usually to cover inflated contracts, and we don't get value for money, and the contracts on the ground that are delivered are substandard and are really of no effect. And so the government has to demonstrate that all this borrowing will be paid back, and that it will indeed grow our economy. So when APC says that it's to grow the economy, we don't see the growth yet. And we have not seen the growth over the last 6 years or so. So we don't really know where this growth is coming from.
All right, one last call before we round off on this program, 070550949. Hello, good morning. Okay, right. That's about it. It's been a wonderful time on the paper review this morning. Doctor, thank you for featuring on the paper review this morning.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
All right. My name is Chike OGBOGU. I'm wishing you a very positive day ahead.
And I am GBEMISOLA SOYEMI. Have a productive day.
The station admired by other radio stations.
Yes, we are.
32 FM 94.9.